Hi everyone, good morning and good afternoon. Thank you all for joining this webinar and we'll start this webinar. So to start with, we'll have agenda like we will try to know each other. So let me introduce myself. I'm Ajay Tripathi and I'm the technical director here and I'll be taking this workshop sessions. Apart from this, I have Harish Kant, who is a product manager who's expertise in GoTestPro and will take this workshop ahead. So the agenda of this workshop is to know about what is SAP S/4HANA and how the testing tool that we have, how it is better and comparatively good compared to the products. Then what are the current challenges that as a company you face across in S/4HANA after implementation? We will look into that. Then common business problems in SAP S/4HANA while migration, and what are the applications that we focus when we are implementing right SAP S/4HANA, and what are the challenges, and what we do recommend with our past experience that how this application can be made better when we use GoPro test. And additional test area we'll be looking on. Plus we'll also look about landscape, and then we will look into our product, and then we'll have a walkthrough of our product, and final we'll take with question and answers. Now, as a business, we face that the application which is built and configured by our implementing partner, there is a gap, the product is not properly tested, and it has a lot of challenges. So our focus is to understand the current business, what customers are focusing on. We will understand your application, and on the basis of understanding your SAP S/4HANA applications, we will also evaluate what are the configurations and data module have been built on, and traditional challenges like some of the processes gap that you would have, we will also take care of those part. We will also monitor your current testing application which is built and how it is managed. Now, common problem when we look on SAP S/4HANA is that the application which we are using on migration is visibility. So sometimes what happens, we are not clear that the migration and transformation has properly built or not. There is a dependency which has to be taken care, and untested validations. So customer, when they build, there are challenges that sometimes the validations are not done. And we will also help you in migration and looking about what are your business downtime because of the proper migration has not happened. And finally, we will focus on business user involvement, where we'll utilize you and help you to manage your migration in better way. Now, what are our focus when we do S/4HANA migration? So process flow is an important aspect. When we build an application, we see there is a lot of gap because the testing of the application is not built. And there may be various reasons. Once we would build application which is on customized or the standard. Next part, we'll be looking on master data and transaction validation. So most of our master data are application based, where we have in S/4HANA. So HANA is our database. We wanted to have transacts and validations which has to be done. So we will do with S/4HANA with our product. We will find out what are those challenges. As most of our applications are user based, when we talk about like Fiori and UI based, so that has to be tested with HANA. So S4 is an interface and HANA is a database, and all our applications on S4 are like finance, we have logistic, right, sales and distribution, HR, and so on. Apart from also, our focus will be to understand what are web and on-premise application that is interface with your application. So we just do not do only data or processes, but also multiple integration of applications. As we see, the enterprise application has a lot of challenges, such as customized codes are there that has to be validated, BARD has to be taken care, and user application basis. Similarly, we will also focus on integrating with SAP and non-SAP applications. And parallelly, we'll be looking on permissions and RBP, that is role-based permissions, which can be taken care. Our aspects also will be a migration and validations. So as we migrate from multiple source and destination system, we will also help you in assessing the validation is properly done on the migration or not, or any reconciliation has to be. So this is our focus when we test the application product for the customers. Now, apart from standard, we also recommend which has to be core component that must be tested. One is HANA database, as we talk about, as SAP HANA database is advanced and it has to be taken care. Then we'll help you in evaluating and testing the data modules that is built on the system and user based applications and integrated with customized and third party applications what we have, which is we are talking about embedded applications for our customers. Now additional area also we need to test. So we have taken a scenario like example as a process we have taken like order to cash or HR processes, HR to HR, P2P processes. Apart from this, we will also assess business modules. Our expertise are more, but we are expertise in modules like finance, HR, SD, extended warehouse management, logistic, and many more. Plus, we will also be testing master data migrations. So specific to all your master data, whether it is in SAP or non-SAP system, we will test, evaluate, and when we see our application, there'll be more clarity on the concept which we are building on. Plus governance and security, GRC, which is also one of the part which will help you in managing the policies and process and validations we are going to test and build for our customers. Similarly, user roles also has a based on permissions and rules. We are going to take it further on the module specific configurations and customizations which we are going to build for our customers. Now, as a business, we understand we have diversified this into three segmentation when we build on. One is focus on your business criticality. We understand your business. We study that. We create a test cases. We work on POCs. On that basis, we build business criticality issues such as selecting your E2E processes, high risk validations processes, and verifying end-to-end data and integration. Second stage we have taken as essential options, which includes your day-to-day operations on whether it's a production, whether it is a warehouse, extended warehouse management, logistics, CRM, all that. So we have understood that what we need to help you in testing, such as your master data, company codes, your plant, your material, consumer, and so on, and processes. And final, we understand that conditional scenarios, which is customized, which we look for our customers. Here we'll be focusing on validating your P2E data. We'll be looking on or your transactional basis, such as month-end transactions, plan setup, creating a material. So on this basis, we will test all this, your application on three criteria. This will help us to stabilize your system, make more on automations, and help you to minimize the error and challenges that we are going to build for our customers. Now, as a client, we always understand the business into three segmentation which we want to build. One is your core processes. We wanted to design how it is designed, understand that design. On that basis of your processes, we will have module specific expertise, and on this basis, step by step, we will be evaluating and testing those criteria of your applications, and we will be giving you a consulting that where the process has a gap and where the application is not capable to manage your business process. That's the reason there is a challenges in managing your process and business. So we'll test this as a process on your core business area. And master data also is our parameters, as we'll be looking on in a scope which will look about. This is an important aspects for any business to understand their company code, the business, the sales and the distribution, and their customization. And similarly transaction. So all your transactional data day to day will look about building in a system on, such as whether it's a purchase order with sales or good receipt, invoice, payment. We are going to test these scenarios also. So this is a scope we understand. On this basis we assess and we evaluate and we build the testing parameters for our customers. Now, to more understand on this, I would like to hand over and take it further to the application understanding. What is our GoTestPro applications? And on this basis, we'll be taking it further. So I would like to pass this
Yes,
opportunity to my colleague, and he would be taking it further from here, from the application prospects.
yes. Thank you, Vijay. Hello, everyone. Good morning. How are you guys doing? Yeah, and thank you for staying with us so far. My name is Harish. I will basically walk you through GoTestPro, which is a testing solution which is specifically tailored for SAP S/4HANA environments, right? And to give a little background about me, I serve as a product manager for GoTestPro, and I come with a 9 years of testing experience. Over the years, I can say that I have worked across various platforms and industries, right? And I can say with confidence that testing SAP S/4HANA environments presents some of the most unique challenges in enterprise IT today, right? Okay, Ashik, can we please go to the next slide? Yes. So in this slide, I'm basically telling that at the core of GoTestPro, right, we believe that the automation should be accessible to both technical and non-technical users, right? Our intelligent test recorder basically captures user actions directly from SAP S/4HANA interface and converts them into reusable, editable test steps. There's no need for scripting, and users can build automation flows by selecting from a set of predefined actions and keywords. Additionally, GoTestPro supports business-centric tagging and prioritization, such as making tests as compliance critical, performance sensitive, or user facing, allowing for smarter regression planning and execution. Right, and with visual representation of test steps, stakeholders can basically review and understand testing flows without needing to interpret any technical aspects. Ashik, can we please go to the next slide? Yeah. Uh, GoTestPro basically provides an end-to-end automation solution across SAP S/4HANA ecosystem, right? Including the SAP GUI, Web GUI, and Peerly, right? Our smart locator engine dynamically adapts to the UI variations. It basically reduces the test failure caused by the minor interface changes. We also validate both master and transactional data, not just at the UI level, but also through backend table comparisons, ensuring data integrity, and at the same time, we also ensure the functional accuracy, right? But again, here's the here I also want to mention about the game changer that we have got, that is out of the box test cases of SAP that we basically have designed and tailored for SAP S/4HANA modules, right? So these, when I say out of the box test cases, these aren't just placeholders, or let me say these aren't just any templates, right? I mean they are fully executable, production ready test flows covering modules like finance, logistics, HR, material management, and even niche flows, right? These test cases are built from real implementation scenarios, and also they validate against live SAP environments. What this means for your team is that you don't need to start from zero, right? You need not do from the scratch. You don't need to spend weeks designing the test scenarios, or even going out and asking like, what should we test, and which test scenarios should QA team consider, right? Instead, your QA team can plug in, execute, and basically adapt. I think that is really, that might sound a little helpful. I'll be taking you through this demonstration where I'll be showing how do we, basically pull the out of the box test case and then we integrate them into our testing journey, right? We'll be seeing in our demo, right? And so these out of the box test cases, they fundamentally reshape how testing is done during SAP S/4HANA rollouts and migrations, right? In short, what used to take weeks can now take few days. That's not just optimization. I can basically say that's a transformation, right? Okay. Ajay, can we please skip to the next slide? Okay. Yes, migration, right? Migration from EC2 to SAP S/4HANA. Now that's a phrase that basically makes every project manager slightly nervous, right? And every even QA engineer immediately looks for a copy, right? So, okay, again, when it comes to the GoTestPro, it simplifies this migration, right? When I say how do we do this, we offer a dedicated migration validation engine that lets you run parallel test cases both across ECC and S/4HANA. This means you are not just testing in isolation, right? You are comparing old behavior to the new side by side with completed retraceability, right? Whether it's a Z program, I mean, custom enhancements, or even standard report, right? GoTestPro helps you ensure that functionality remains consistent post migration, right? You need not worry after post migration if the same test cases would be in a working condition, right? So they are intact. It also checks master and transactional data outputs. It verifies logic integrity, and at the same time it also highlights discrepancies in real time. So while migrations will never be completely painless, right? But with GoTestPro, I can surely say that it's predictable, reliable, and at the same time it's significantly less stressful. Yes. Can you please go to the next slide? Yes, and when I'm saying, GoTestPro as a solution for the SAP S/4HANA, so in the real world, testing doesn't just live in a vacuum, right? It touches every part of the delivery life cycle, right? Every part of the delivery life cycle, what I mean is from development to the production, right? That's why GoTestPro is also built along with DevOps and business collaboration at its core. Our centralized test library allows test cases to be created, versioned, and at the same time reused across modules and teams. Whether it's a QA engineer, a functional consultant, or even a business analyst, everyone can work in the same place with the same clarity and control. And yes, we do support CI/CD and integration with Jenkins, GitLab, Azure DevOps, and more. So if you are the kind of team that pushes daily release or just loves green pipeline, check Goddess Pro fits completely right in. And automated scheduling ensures, right? We also have got a feature called scheduling where you can schedule the test cases, like you can schedule your regression test suite, and that basically ensures that the regression test suite is never missed. It's nothing goes untested, right? And you can also have an email notification that keeps the stakeholders in loop. This basically helps everyone to be on track, and the test report that is sent through the email, it basically comes with the screenshots, a video recording, and also with the data validation. So it's completely audit ready is what I can say, right? Okay. Ajay, can you please? Okay. In this slide, basically, we are showcasing how the integration happens, right? So you can see we are integrating the out-of-the-box test cases. Further, we can customize these out-of-the-box test cases. Continuous test via CI/CD. That is, once you have customized that, you can basically integrate that into your CI/CD pipelines, right? Further, you can run it on your cloud, on your own execution grid. Yeah, sorry, I forgot to mention. You can also have the entire cloud execution to be enabled on your own execution grid, right? On your own servers. We also provide that kind of privilege, right? And finally, once everything is tested, we can go for the deployment. Yep. Yes. Okay. So these slides, the following slides, basically it's showing how an user can basically customize his project to be an SAP S/4HANA application. Okay. Ajay, I would request you to navigate through next three slides quickly because I will be covering this in our demo. Can you please go to the next slide, Ajay? Next, next. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Can we stop here, Ajay? Okay. Uh, I think now we have reached the demo part, right? So, Ajay, I would request you to pass the screen sharing to me. Okay. Let me share my screen. Ajay, is my screen visible? Can you please confirm to that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's visible.
Thank you. So yes, guys. So now I'm on the login page of GoTestPro, right? I've just entered my credentials and I'm clicking on sign in button. So yeah, once I sign in, you can see the projects page. This is where different projects are listed, right? I'll be navigating you through the other screens, but let me first explain you a little about the project screen. Project screen is where basically you start your testing journey from, right? You have got a button called here, add new project. Once I click on this, right, you get to see a few of the fields here, right? Like project title types. Okay. Once I click on this project title, I get to see I can add a project title for this, the project that I'm creating. So I'll add this as SAP yes for HANA automation. Okay. So this is the project title that I choose to add. I'll be further selecting the test type, right? So now let me demonstrate the browser test, right? We can do both browser test as well as API test through GoTestPro. I am selecting browser test, and there is a description. SAP is for HANA webinar. So this is not a mandatory field, but just let me add this detail here quickly. Once I click on add environment, so guys, this is where I get to add the environment. I mean, basically for the customize my project, right? What I mean by customization, so I get to select from the drop down whether the environment is dev, UAT, or production. I'll be selecting production now, and this is where we add the instance of our application under test, right? So now I'm testing the SAP S/4HANA application. So I think I already have SAP here, which I basically used earlier. So okay, I just added the SAP instance here. Once I do that, I click on save, right? Now you can see that the project is basically configured for the SAP application, SAP S/4HANA application, right? Now I want your attention here a little, right? This toggle, right? You can see when I turn on this toggle, what happens is I get to see a drop down here, right? It says, is it an enterprise application? And I say yes. And from this drop down, I get to select different, I get to see different projects, right? So we do ServiceNow, Salesforce, SAP S/4HANA, Workday. We do all kinds of platform-based testing. Now that we are doing focusing much on SAP S/4HANA, so I'll be selecting SAP S/4HANA, and now the pop-up that comes up is nothing but the modules of the SAP S/4HANA that I basically want to incorporate into my testing journey, right? So I selected all the modules that I basically want to add to my testing journey, and I click on proceed to testing. Once I do that, I land on the test page, right? Now I was earlier on the projects page. Now I land on the test page. Okay. To quickly show it to you, now the test project is listed down, right? It's with the detail showcasing my name and the environment that I selected basically as production. And once I do that, I get to land on the test page. Here, I see three tabs, right? Out of the box, browser test, and DB test, right? Out of the box test, yes, this is what we selected. Now we can see there are different test cases like accounts, sales, or sales module, and SAP SD. So these are the different test cases that we have for these modules, right? There can be a number, there can be hundreds of these test cases, right? For demo purpose, I'm selecting several of them. So these test cases come under the out of the box test. Then, okay, now let me say any one of them. Let me pick randomly any one of them, like account payables edit. Okay, now this is the out of the box test case. This is the test management page views. So what does this mean is I can basically put this test case into my testing journey. I'll click on create a copy. Once I do that, I can go back to the browser test and I can see the copy of the test case that is created. Okay. Once I have this out of the box test case with me, I can see different test steps, right? These are the different test steps. I mean, this is basically a test case that is recorded, right? A pre-recorded test case that basically tests this scenario, account tables edit, right? This is the scenario that I want to test. Now, how do I test this? I can, further customize this as per my need, right? I can, just open this test case in the edit mode. So this is the edit mode that I'm opening, right? Then I can further make the further edits. I can edit the, details like I just click on edit button. I can edit the login details. I can also make changes on any other specific test. Yes. Okay. I think I will try to create one project, right? I will try to create a test case that might give you a more clear insight. Okay. What I'll do is I'll click on add test. So there's a button called here on the browser test, add new test. Once I click on this add new test, I get to add the sales order creation. Okay. I already have this. Okay. So I added the test name sales order creation and add the modular sales and distribution, and I'll be tagging this. Tag basically means that I am, you know, kind of tagging this test case with a test plan, right? So that when even if I have 10 of the test cases and I tag it with the same name like sales, right? I can run all of them at once, which means that it's a test repository, right? Sales is a test repository, right? So that is the kind of understanding that test plan basically means. Okay. So now that I have created, I land on this test case creation page, right? Test management page, or else you can call it as test management page. You see here a record button, right? A record button. Once I click on this record button, what happens is you can see the application under test, that is SAP S/4HANA, being opened along with GoTestPro's recorder extension, right? So this is the recorder extension that has opened. So now this is where our testing journey basically starts from, right? How do I do this? Whatever actions that I'm performing on the application under test are recorded by the GoTestPro's recorder extension, right? For example, I click on reject all, right? You can see the live actions being recorded, right? I'll click on try now, and you can see the actions being recorded. I'll basically try to enter an email, right? I'll try to enter my email. So you can see I've just entered my email and that action gets captured. So this is just to demonstrate how GoTestPro basically records the live actions that you're recording on your application under test, right? So yeah, that's the quick overview of GoTestPro's recorder extension, how it's capable and how it is robust to record all the actions that you perform on your application. Once I click on save and close, the test steps gets recorded, right? These are the test steps that I've recorded, right? Where I'm trying to enter the email and I click on next and continue. So this is just a short test case that I've recorded. Once I've recorded this, I can run it. How do I run it? I can run it on 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 my local, or even I can run it on cloud. Running on local means if I click on the local execution, basically the application and the test opens along with the GoTestPro recorder extension, right? That is what happens. So you can see the execution being performed, right? I click on reject all, I'm clicking on try now, I click on the email feed, and I'm entering the email, right? You can see that the actions are being performed, right? So this is GoTestPro in live action with the SAP S/4HANA application. Okay. Now, okay, the execution. Let me stop this here. So yes, so this is a quick overview of how we can do the local execution. I also want to show you the cloud execution. That is another robust feature of GoTestPro. When I click on run and I select cloud execution, what happens is you get to see a pop-up. This pop-up is where basically I can select, right, on which environment I want to run my test case on, right? So you can see as of now, it's by default, the configuration is that I can run this on Windows 11 on Chrome browser. The version of the browser is this, and with this sort of resolution. I can even add some new other environments. I have the privilege of adding 5 environments at the same time. I can even add the mobile device, right? We have got some real-time mobile devices. I can even also schedule this, to run on my mobile device if your application is, is also a mobile-based application. So it's just to give you an understanding that we also do the mobile-based testing, right? And again, I mentioned earlier that once we schedule something, we have the privilege of getting to know how did the execution go. So enable reporting emailing. When I turn on this toggle, I get to add the email recipient here. Okay, I set my email address and I click on submit. That's it. The execution has started, and the results will be posted to your email address. Right? That simple it is. I just want to show you one last thing, right? Wherein I told you, right, we can also have the test case scheduled, right? So when I go click on schedule, so I created one of the test case, right? Sales order creation with a tag name called sales. When I select this, okay, I'll be selecting SAP. Okay, let me add the name of the test that I'm wanting to schedule, right? This is the sales order creation that I've just created. So I added the name, description, uh, SAP sales order creation. Frequency. What does frequency mean? It basically defines the interval at which we want to run our test case. Okay. Hourly means this test case runs on an hourly basis. Daily means it runs on a daily basis, and monthly means it runs on an interval of a month. I'll be selecting daily for now, and I select any specific time. All right. And once I do that and click on schedule, so the first run would be at this time, right, on this date and this specific time, and the next run again would be on the next date on that specific time. Once I hit schedule, basically I get to again see the pop-up from where if I click on submit, the scheduler starts, right? So I stop here. Yes, we also do the CI/CD integration, but looking at the time span, I will be, just mentioning that we can also do, run the test cases on CI/CD. Yes. That's a quick overview of GoTestPro application, but yeah, I do also want to show you about the test results, right? After post execution, how does your test execution results look like? Let me take you to one of the execution that we have already done, right? Let me take you to the results page. And okay, this is one of the tests that is already done. Oh, it's sales order creation again. Okay, this was the tests that I wanted to show you. Okay, this is the test results page that looks like. Okay, and if you want me to show, right, I will just open one of the test tab, right? So this test tab is where I'm entering the email, right? So you get to see the screenshot, you get to see, right, the locator value, the locator types, and also the text that is entered, right, during this, into this field, right? So we get to see all of these things and also the status, whether it's passed or failed, right? So we have a very detailed test, test report post execution. We also can see the video of the execution that has happened. I can just click on play video. It takes a couple of seconds. This is the playback speed to 1.5 seconds. Yes. So, yes. Now we can view the GoTestPro in action, right? It's the video that has happened on cloud. I can also get to see the execution that has taken place, right? That's pretty much the detailed demonstration of GoTestPro today. Thanks for bearing me with my demo. And yes, Madhu, I would basically request you to help me with playing a video where we can show, demonstrate GoTestPro in live action with SAP SAP S/4HANA. Yes. So yeah, we can see that, yeah. So here I'm showing an execution, right, uh, wherein we are seeing SAP S/4HANA in live in action with GoTestPro, right? I have just posted the SAP S/4HANA application. I have entered my email address. I'm entering my password. Once I do that, I click on sign in. This test case is basically about sales order creation, right? Where I'm trying to create a sales order on SAP S/4HANA module, wherein I log in into the application. Once I log in, I further select the module as sales. So yes, now just we are logged in. We'll be skipping through the part, and now I've clicked on sales order, create sales order. So now I'm trying to create a sales order, and I'll be entering the sales order type, right? I'll be selecting it from the drop down. This thing, all of these things I've done during the recording, and now what you can see is it's the live execution, right? It's like record once and run it 100 times, right? It's just you need to do the precise kind of recording it once, and you can run it a number of times. Yes. So now that I have entered the sold to party details, I'll be selecting the sold to party details. Once I have done that, I'll be entering the product by distribution chain, and I will also enter the quantity. Once I entered the quantity, I'll be clicking on create the sales order. Now the sales order is created, right? There we go. I finally also assert if the sales order is created or not by the ID that appears on the screen. You can see the assertion step also getting passed. And yes, you can see the message the sales order is created. Finally, I log out. Okay, now we are logging out. Okay, yes, that's about it. I mean, this is where we have seen GoTestPro in live action with SAP S/4HANA, right? It's very simple. You just record it once and you can run a number of times, right? The execution is that simple. And yes, Ajay, can you please share back your screen and let's jump to the next slide. Okay, okay, we have a QA session. Ajay, can you please stay on the QA session? Let me check if we have few of the survey questions. So basically, there are few of the questions like what are the biggest challenges we face, right, while testing the SAP, right? If you ask me, right, I would like to say that GoTestPro, basically addresses this head on with its codeless test creation, which basically enables functional testers and business users to create automated test cases without needing to write even a single line of code, right? So even with a limited skill set, any person can have this incorporated into their test automation journey. What would you most like to improve in SAP testing process? So if you ask me what is the thing that I would basically focus on in order to improve my SAP testing process, I would be focusing much on identifying the elements in the right way, right? Because in SAP it's a very dynamic platform, right? It keeps changing, the version gets updating. So I would want to have a test case that is reusable, right? At any point of time, even after migration, even after version changes, what are the test cases I've recorded might be hundreds of them. I do not want to go back and re-record them, right? So I would be much focusing on having the test cases that is perfect at all times, right? In GoTestPro, we have a feature called auto healing that basically allows us to reuse a test case again and again, right? An auto healing feature basically recognizes even there is an UI change or even there is a locator change, right? It basically adapts and it recognizes if there is any change at the element level or locator level. And this basically reduces the maintenance overhead and also it significantly reduces the, a common pain point that we have in the SAP testing environments. Okay, I think these are the couple of questions that we received so far. Uh, yeah, thank you. And Ajay, can you please move to the next slide? Okay. Yes, I would basically thank you all for your time and engagement today. It's been a real pleasure walking you through how GoTestPro is reshaping the way we approach SAP S/4HANA testing. And also, let's continue, try to build better, stronger systems together. Thank you all.
So thank you all for joining this workshop. It was a great connect. Please connect us for any clarification or support. You can always do write us at info@royalcyber.com, or you can scan this QR code and get our expert consulting. We would be glad to answer your query and take it further. Thank you again. Thanks for this workshop. Thank you all.